My name is Olivia. I am 34 years old. My life is simple, and I like it that way. I have a good husband. His name is David. We have been married for 9 years. We have a beautiful son. His name is Leo. He is 7 years old. He is my world. We live in a small, quiet town. Our house has a blue door and a small garden. I plant flowers in the spring. David helps me. We laugh together. Our life feels safe. It feels warm, like a soft blanket. I thought I had everything I ever wanted. I thought my life was perfect. I was happy. But sometimes, perfect things can break. You don't see the cracks starting. Then one day, you look, and everything is broken. My story, this difficult story, started on a sunny September day. It was the first day of a new school year. Leo was excited. He was going into the 2nd grade. He had a new backpack. It was bright red with a rocket ship on it. He loved it. He ran around the house, full of energy. "Mommy, am I going to like my new teacher?" he asked. His eyes were big and bright. "Of course you will, sweetie," I said. I kissed his forehead. "Everyone is going to love you." David was at the breakfast table, drinking his coffee. He smiled. He works hard at his job. He sells houses. He is a good man, a good father. He always comes to Leo's school events. He helps Leo with his homework. He plays soccer with him in the garden. He looked at Leo and said, "You're going to have a great day, little man. Learn lots of new things." I walked Leo to school that morning. The sun was warm on our faces. We held hands. The school playground was full of children and parents. Everyone was happy and loud. We found Leo's new classroom, room 5. On the door, there was a sign. It said, "Welcome 2nd graders. Your teacher is Miss Evans." Leo looked up at me. "Miss Evans," he said quietly. "I hope she's nice." "I'm sure she is," I said, squeezing his hand. I gave him a big hug at the classroom door. "Be good, my love. I'll see you this afternoon." He waved and walked inside. I watched him go. My heart felt full of love for him. I had no idea that a simple name on a door, Miss Evans, would change everything. That afternoon, when I picked Leo up, he was so excited he was almost jumping. He ran to me and hugged my legs. "Mommy, Mommy, I love my new teacher. Her name is Miss Evans, and she is the best teacher in the whole world." I laughed. "Is she now? What makes her so great?" "She has a big smile," he said. "And she read us a story about a dragon. And she has shiny hair. And she said I'm a very good artist." He showed me a drawing he made. It was a picture of a smiling stick figure with long, wavy hair. Underneath, he had written Miss Evans. I smiled. "This is a beautiful drawing, Leo." All week, it was the same. "Miss Evans said this. Miss Evans taught us that. Miss Evans thinks I'm funny." It was sweet. I was happy that Leo liked his teacher so much. A good teacher is a wonderful gift. The next week, the school had a meet the teacher night. It was a chance for parents to see the classroom and talk to the teacher for a few minutes. David was coming home from work a little late, so he said he would meet me there. I went to the school alone first. I walked to room 5. The classroom was bright and colorful. Children's drawings were on the walls. I saw Leo's drawing of Miss Evans, taped right in the front. Then I saw her. She was talking to another mother. Leo was right. She was beautiful. She was tall and slim, with long, dark, shiny hair, just like in his drawing. She had a warm, kind smile. When she finished talking to the other parent, she turned to me. "Hello," she said. Her voice was friendly. "You must be Leo's mom. I'm Sarah Evans." "It's so nice to meet you," I said, shaking her hand. "I'm Olivia. Leo talks about you all the time. He says you're the best teacher in the world." She laughed. It was a nice sound. "He's a wonderful boy, so bright and creative. It's a pleasure to have him in my class." We talked for a few minutes about the school year, about what they would be learning. She was easy to talk to. I felt comfortable with her. I could see why Leo liked her. I felt happy, relieved. This was going to be a good year. Just then, David walked into the classroom. "Sorry I'm late," he started to say. He walked over to me. "Olivia, this is." He stopped. He looked at Miss Evans. His face changed. It was a small change, but I saw it. I know his face. The smile left his eyes. His body became still, very still. He looked like he had seen a ghost. "Miss Evans, Sarah." Her face changed too. Her smile disappeared. Her eyes got wide. She looked from David to me, and then back to David. The friendly warmth in the room was gone. It felt cold. "David," she whispered. Her voice was different now, not the confident teacher's voice. It was small, shocked. David just stared at her. He didn't seem to be breathing. It felt like a long time, but it was probably only a few seconds. The other parents in the room were talking and laughing. They didn't notice the strange, silent bubble around the three of us. "You know each other?" I asked. My voice sounded loud in the silence. David finally blinked. He looked at me. He tried to smile, but it didn't work. "Yes," he said. His voice was tight. "Sarah, Miss Evans, and we knew each other a long time ago. From college." "Oh," I said. "What a small world." But it didn't feel like a small world. It felt like a very big, very dangerous secret had just walked into the room. Miss Evans found her voice again. She put on her professional smile. But it was not the same. It didn't reach her eyes. "Yes, it's been a long time," she said to David. Then she looked at me. "Well, it was lovely to meet you, Olivia. And you too, David. It is good to see you again." She turned to another parent who was waiting. The conversation was over. David put his hand on my back. "Let's go," he said quietly. We walked out of the classroom. We didn't say anything as we walked through the school hallways. We didn't say anything in the car on the way home. The silence was heavy. It was full of questions I was afraid to ask. When we got home, the babysitter was reading Leo a story. We paid her and she left. Leo was sleepy and happy. We put him to bed. I tucked him in. He hugged his teddy bear. "Did you meet Miss Evans, Mommy?" he mumbled. "Yes, sweetie, I did," I said. "She's very nice." "Did Daddy meet her?" "Yes, Daddy met her too." "Good," he said, and closed his eyes. He fell asleep, so innocent, so unaware. I walked back into the living room. David was standing by the window, looking out into the dark. He wasn't moving. "David," I said, "what was that? Who is she?" He turned around. He looked tired. He looked old. "Olivia, we need to talk." We sat on the sofa. The sofa where we watched movies. The sofa where we cuddled. But tonight, it felt like we were miles apart. "Her name is Sarah Evans," he started. "I knew her in college before I met you. We were together for a long time. We were serious." I felt a cold feeling in my stomach. "You never told me about her," I said. I had asked him about his past girlfriends. He had mentioned a few names, but never Sarah. "I know," he said. He looked down at his hands. "It ended badly. It was a long time ago. I didn't want to bring it up. It was in the past." "Ended badly how?" I asked. I needed to know. He took a deep breath. "We were engaged," he said. The word hit me like a stone. Engaged. He had been engaged to another woman, to Leo's teacher. We were young. We had a fight. A stupid fight. I broke it off. I moved away. I met you a year later. I never saw her again. Until tonight. My mind was spinning. Engaged. He had asked another woman to marry him. "Why didn't you tell me?" I whispered. My voice was shaky. "I was ashamed," he said. "I was a different person then. Immature. I hurt her. When I met you, it felt like a fresh start. A new life. I wanted to leave that part of my life behind. It had nothing to do with us, with you and me." He looked at me. His eyes were full of pain. "Olivia, I love you. You know that. You and Leo are my entire life. She is nothing to me now. A ghost from the past. That's it. It's just a terrible, crazy coincidence that she is Leo's teacher." He reached for my hand. "I promise you," he said. His voice was intense. "I promise you, it's over. It was over a long time ago. I will never see her again. I will never speak to her again, except when it is absolutely necessary for Leo's school things. Please, you have to believe me." I looked at his face, the face I loved, the face I trusted. I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe him. My perfect life was shaking. The floor felt unsteady beneath my feet. "Okay," I whispered. "Okay, David." He pulled me into a hug. I felt his body relax, but I couldn't relax. I felt cold, scared. A woman he once promised to marry was now going to be in my son's life every single day. A woman he had hidden from me for 9 years. He said he would never see her again. But that was a promise he couldn't keep. He had to see her. We both did. She was back. And I was afraid. I was very, very afraid of what that meant for us. The days after that night were strange. I tried to act normal for Leo, for David, for myself. I pretended that everything was okay. I told myself it was in the past. David was right. It was a coincidence. A strange, uncomfortable coincidence. But that was all. People have pasts. I have a past too, even if it's not as dramatic as an ex-fiancé. I tried to push the fear away, but it was hard. Every morning when I dropped Leo at school, I saw her. Miss Evans. Sarah. She would be at the classroom door, greeting the children. She always had a professional, friendly smile. She would smile at me. "Good morning, Olivia." I would smile back. "Good morning, Miss Evans." It felt like a play. We were both acting. We both knew the secret that hung in the air between us, but we never spoke of it. David tried too. He was extra nice. He brought me flowers one day. He helped more around the house. He was trying to show me that I was the one he loved, that our family was what mattered. I appreciated it. I really did. But the trust was a little bit broken, like a tiny crack in a glass. You can still use the glass, but you're always aware of the crack, afraid it might get bigger. My mind was always busy, thinking, wondering, what was their love like? Did he love her more than he loved me? What was the fight about? Why did it end so badly? I had so many questions, but I was too scared to ask them. I was scared of the answers, so I kept them inside. They sat in my stomach like heavy stones. Leo, of course, was happy. He loved school. He loved his teacher. One day he came home with a note. "Dear parents," it said, "we are starting a new class project on family trees. Please help your child find photos of family members. We will be working on this for the next 2 weeks. Thank you, Miss Evans." A family project. It meant I had to communicate with her. I found old photos. Photos of my parents, David's parents, our wedding photo, a photo of Leo as a baby. I put them in a big envelope for Leo to take to school. I wrote a little note. "Miss Evans, here are the photos for the project. Please let me know if you need anything else. Best, Olivia." It felt so formal, so strange. A few days later, I got an email. The subject was Leo's project. My heart beat a little faster when I saw her name in my inbox. "Dear Olivia," the email said, "thank you for the photos. They are wonderful." Leo was so proud to share them with the class. He did a great job explaining who everyone was. He is a lovely boy. Best, Sarah Evans. The email was perfectly normal, polite, professional. But seeing her name, Sarah Evans, typed out like that, it made it all feel more real. She wasn't just Miss Evans anymore. She was Sarah, the woman my husband was supposed to marry. The suspicion started to grow, like a weed in my garden. I tried to pull it out, but it kept coming back. I started to notice small things. David was quieter than usual. He spent more time on his phone. He would turn the screen away from me when I walked into the room. Before, he never did that. One evening, he told me he had to work late. A client wants to see a house at the last minute, he said. It sounded believable. It happened sometimes in his job. But my mind immediately jumped. Is he really at work? Or is he somewhere else, with her? I felt sick. I hated having these thoughts. I felt like I was becoming a different person. A suspicious, worried person. I didn't like this new Olivia. He came home around 9 o'clock. He looked tired. How was it? I asked, trying to sound casual. Good, he said. They liked the house. I think they'll make an offer. He kissed me on the cheek. He smelled like his normal self, not like another woman's perfume. I felt a little bit of relief, but the doubt was still there. A small, dark seed in my mind. The first parent-teacher conference was scheduled for a month after school started. It was a short, 15-minute meeting to discuss Leo's progress. David always came to these meetings with me. We always went together. It was important to both of us. The night before the conference, David was looking at his calendar. Oh no, he said. I forgot. I have a very important meeting tomorrow afternoon. I can't miss it. I don't think I can make it to the conference, Olivia. I looked at him. You can't change it. No, I can't. It's with a big client. I'm so sorry. You'll have to go without me. Just tell me everything she says. He looked genuinely sorry. But that little seed of doubt in my mind started to sprout. Was the meeting real? Or was he trying to avoid seeing her? Was he trying to avoid being in that small room with both of us? The thought hurt. So I went alone. I sat on a small chair in the hallway, waiting for my turn. I felt nervous. I was going to be alone in a room with her, with Sarah. When it was my turn, I walked in. She was sitting at her desk. She smiled at me. Olivia, come in. It's nice to see you. You too, I said. I sat down on the small chair opposite her. The room was quiet. I could hear the clock ticking on the wall. So she began all business. Leo is doing wonderfully. She showed me his work, his math tests, his stories. She praised him. She said he was kind to other children, that he was a joy to teach. I felt proud, but also I felt strange. She knew my son so well. She spent more time with him during the day than I did. She was a big part of his life. And she was a big part of my husband's past. The two worlds felt dangerously close. I wanted to ask her. I wanted to scream, "Why are you here? Why did you have to come to our town, to our school?" But of course, I couldn't. I had to be polite. I had to be Leo's mom. Instead, I asked, "So, are you enjoying our town? You're new here, right?" I tried to make it sound like simple conversation. "Yes, I am," she said. She seemed a little surprised by the personal question. "It's a very nice community. I moved here over the summer for a fresh start. A fresh start." The words echoed in my head. Was she starting fresh from a broken heart? From the life she was supposed to have with David? Or was it something else? I didn't know. The conference ended. She walked me to the door. "David couldn't make it today?" she asked. Her tone was neutral. "No," I said. "He had a last-minute work meeting." I watched her face for any reaction, but there was nothing. She just nodded. "Well, please tell him I said hello," she said. "Tell him you said hello." It sounded so innocent, but to me, it felt like a message, a connection between them that I was not a part of. I left the school that day feeling more confused and more afraid than ever before. David said it was over. But was it? Was it really over for her? And was it really over for him? The crack in the glass felt like it was getting bigger, and I was afraid that soon it would shatter completely. The weeks turned into a month, then two. Life continued its rhythm. School, work, homework, dinner. On the surface, everything looked normal. David continued to be attentive. He called me during the day just to say hello. He planned a special weekend trip for us, just the three of us, to the mountains. It was beautiful. We hiked and laughed and ate marshmallows by a fire. For those 2 days, I almost forgot. I almost felt like the old Olivia again. Happy, secure. I looked at David laughing with Leo, and I thought, he loves us. He would never hurt us. But then we would come home. And on Monday morning, I would take Leo to school. And I would see Miss Evans. And the fear would come back. It was always there, waiting for me. A shadow in the corner of my perfect life. One night, we were watching a movie in the living room. Leo was asleep. David was next to me on the sofa. His phone was on the small table. It buzzed. A text message had arrived. He was focused on the movie and didn't notice. I glanced at the screen. I didn't mean to, but my eyes just went there. I saw the name of the sender. It wasn't a name. It was just a single letter. S. My blood ran cold. S for Sarah. It had to be. Why would he have her number saved like that? Just an initial, so I wouldn't recognize the name. My heart started pounding in my chest. So hard I thought he could hear it. I couldn't read the whole message, but I saw the first few words on the screen preview. We need to talk about. And then the rest was hidden. We need to talk. My breath caught in my throat. They were talking. They were texting. He had lied to me. The promise he made, I will never speak to her again, was broken. I felt dizzy. I felt like I was going to be sick. I couldn't watch the movie anymore. The sounds from the TV were just noise. I couldn't focus. The images on the screen were a blur. All I could see was that single letter. S. I stood up. I'm tired, I said. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. Weak. I think I'm going to go to bed. David looked up at me, concerned. Are you okay? You look pale. I'm fine, I lied. Just a headache. I went to our bedroom. I closed the door. I sat on the edge of the bed in the dark. My body was shaking. He lied to me. The trust, that cracked glass, it had just shattered into a million tiny pieces. All the small doubts, all the little suspicions, they weren't in my head. They were real. He came into the bedroom a few minutes later. Olivia, are you sure you're okay? I couldn't look at him. I just sat there, staring at the floor. "What is it?" he asked. He sat next to me on the bed. He tried to put his arm around me. I moved away. "Don't touch me," I said. My voice was cold. He was surprised. "Olivia, what's wrong? Talk to me." I finally looked at him. Tears were streaming down my face. "Your phone," I said. "You got a message from S." I saw the change in his face. The concern was replaced by guilt, by fear. He knew he was caught. He didn't say anything for a moment. He just looked down. "Who is David?" I asked, even though I knew the answer. "Is it Sarah?" He hesitated. Then he nodded slowly. "Yes." The word, the simple confirmation, felt like a punch to my stomach. I felt the air leave my lungs. "You promised me," I whispered. "You promised you wouldn't talk to her." "I know," he said. His voice was full of shame. "I'm sorry." "Sorry," I said. My voice got louder. I felt a surge of anger. "You lied to me for weeks, and all you can say is sorry. Are you seeing her? Are you meeting her?" "No, no, I swear," he said, looking up at me. His eyes were desperate. "It's not like that. We haven't met." "Then why are you texting her? What do you need to talk about that is so important?" I was crying and yelling now. I couldn't stop myself. The pain and fear were pouring out of me. "It's complicated," he started. "Don't say it's complicated," I shouted. "Tell me the truth, David. For once, tell me the complete truth." He took a deep, shaky breath. "Okay," he said. "The truth. A few weeks ago, after the parent-teacher conference, she emailed me. Not on the school email, on my personal one. I don't know how she got it. She said she felt bad about how things were, how awkward it was. She said she wanted to talk, to clear the air, for Leo's sake." "For Leo's sake," I said with disbelief. "Or for her sake?" I didn't reply at first. He continued, ignoring my question. "I swear, Olivia, I deleted the email." But then she sent another one. She said she was worried you were upset. She suggested we meet for a coffee, just once, to talk, so it wouldn't be so uncomfortable for everyone. My heart ached. She asked to meet him for coffee. "And did you go?" I asked, my voice trembling. I was almost afraid of the answer. "Yes," he whispered. He couldn't look at me. "I went last week, the day I told you I was working late." The world stopped. He had lied. He had met her. He had sat in a cafe with her, the woman he was once going to marry, while I was at home, worried, but trying to trust him. The pain was so intense. It felt like my heart was physically breaking. "I had to," he said, his voice pleading. "I thought if we just talked once, we could be adults about this. We could agree to be professional. I did it for us, Olivia. To make this situation less tense. You did it for us. By lying to me." I was sobbing now, uncontrollably. "How could you, David? How could you sit there with her behind my back?" "Nothing happened," he said, his voice rising. "We just talked. We talked about the past, about why it ended. We got closure. That's it. I told her about you. I told her I love you and Leo more than anything. I told her she needs to respect that. I swear to you, Olivia, it was just a conversation. It meant nothing. He tried to hold me, but I pushed him away. Get out, I said. What? Get out, I repeated, my voice low and dangerous. I can't look at you right now. Go sleep on the sofa. Just go. He looked broken, but he saw the look in my eyes. He knew I was serious. He stood up slowly and walked out of the room, closing the door softly behind him. I was alone, in our bed, in our room, in our life that was no longer ours. It was mine, his, and hers now. A tangled mess of lies and secrets. I cried for hours. I cried for my perfect life, which was now a lie. I cried for my husband, who I didn't know if I could ever trust again. And I cried for my son, who was sleeping peacefully in the next room, dreaming of his wonderful teacher. My heart was broken. My family was broken. And I had no idea how to fix it. I felt completely and utterly alone. The next morning was silent. A heavy, painful silence. David had slept on the sofa. I saw the blanket and pillow when I came out of the bedroom. I felt no pity, only a deep, cold ache in my chest. I made Leo his breakfast. I packed his lunch. I tried to smile for him. Good morning, sunshine, I said, my voice sounding fake and cheerful. He didn't seem to notice. He was too busy telling me about a dream he had about a flying dog. David came into the kitchen. He looked terrible. His eyes were red. He hadn't shaved. Good morning, he said quietly. I didn't answer. Leo looked up. Hi, Daddy. David forced a smile for him. Hey, little man. The tension was so thick I could barely breathe. I took Leo to school. The walk felt long. My feet felt like lead. When we got to the classroom, she was there. Sarah, standing at the door, smiling her perfect teacher smile. Good morning, Leo. Good morning, Olivia. I wanted to turn and run. I wanted to scream at her. You liar, you broke my family. But I couldn't. I just nodded. I couldn't speak. I hugged Leo and walked away as fast as I could. I felt her eyes on my back. Did she know? Did David tell her that I found out? Did she feel sorry? Or was she happy? I spent the day in a fog. I couldn't work. I couldn't eat. I just walked around the empty, silent house. Our house. The house David sold to us. The house where we had built our life. It felt like a stranger's house now. Every picture on the wall, every piece of furniture, felt like a lie. I had to make a decision. What was I going to do? Could I forgive him? He said nothing happened. He said it was foreclosure. Part of me, a small, desperate part, wanted to believe him. I wanted my life back, my simple, happy life. But another part of me, the angry, hurt part, said, how can you ever trust him again? He lied to your face. He met her in secret. I thought about leaving, packing a bag for me and Leo, going to my parents' house. But what would that solve? It would break Leo's heart. He loved his father. And it would mean that she had won. That this ghost from the past had destroyed my present. I couldn't let that happen. When David came home from work that evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table. I had been sitting there for hours. I was calm now. The tears were gone. I felt empty, but also strong. I knew what I had to do. "We need to talk," I said, before he could say anything. "But not here. Leo will be home from his friend's house soon." He just nodded. "Where?" "I don't know," I said. "Somewhere neutral, a coffee shop." The irony was not lost on me. He met her in a coffee shop. Now he would meet me in one, to decide the fate of our marriage. We went to a small cafe in the next town over, a place where no one would know us. We sat at a small table in the corner. We ordered coffee. We didn't drink it. "I have been thinking all day," I started. My voice was steady. "I have thought about leaving you." I saw the fear in his eyes. "Olivia, please don't say that." "Let me finish," I said. "I thought about it. But I am not going to do that. Not yet, because of Leo, and because of the 9 years we have had. I am not going to throw that away because of your mistake. Your stupid, selfish mistake." He flinched, but he didn't argue. "But things have to change," I continued. "This cannot happen again. The lies have to stop. Now, forever. I need complete honesty from you, David, about everything." "Okay," he said. "Anything. I will tell you anything." "I have one more question," I said, looking him straight in the eye. "Do you still have feelings for her?" He looked back at me. He didn't hesitate. "No," he said. "Seeing her again, it just confirmed how much I've changed. How much I love you. What we have is real, Olivia. It's my life. What I had with her, it was a different person, a different lifetime ago. It's like reading a chapter from a book I forgot I had read. It's not my story anymore. You are my story." His words sounded sincere. I wanted to believe them. I chose to believe them. For now. "Okay," I said. "Then here is what we are going to do. You are going to delete her number. Right now. You are going to block her email address. You will have no contact with her. None. All communication about Leo will go through me. Do you understand?" "Yes," he said. He took out his phone. I watched him as he deleted the contact. S. I watched him as he blocked her personal email. It was a small action, but it felt like a start. "And us," I said. "We are going to go to counseling. We need help. We need someone to help us learn how to talk to each other again. How to rebuild this trust you have broken." He looked relieved. "Yes, of course, anything." "This is your last chance, David," I said. My voice was quiet, but firm. "You lie to me one more time about anything, and we are done. I will take Leo, and I will leave. And I will not look back. Do you understand?" "I understand," he said. There were tears in his eyes. "Thank you, Olivia. Thank you for not giving up on me. On us. I will not let you down again. I promise." I didn't know if he could keep that promise. I didn't know if our marriage could be fixed. The cracks were still there. They were deep. But as we sat there, in that quiet cafe, I felt a tiny spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, we could put the pieces back together. It wouldn't be perfect. It would be scarred. But maybe it could be whole again. The road ahead was going to be long and hard. But for the first time since I saw her face in that classroom, I felt like I could walk it. I was not going to let a ghost from the past destroy my family. I was going to fight. For me, for David, and most of all, for Leo. Rebuilding trust is not like building a house. You don't just follow a plan and put the pieces together. It's slow, it's messy, and it's painful. Some days, it feels impossible. David and I started going to marriage counseling. The first few sessions were hard. We sat in a quiet room with a kind-faced woman. We talked about the lies. I talked about my pain, my fear. David talked about his shame, his stupidity. He said he met with Sarah because he was a coward. He was afraid of the awkwardness. He thought one conversation would make it all go away. He didn't think about how it would hurt me. He was only thinking of himself. It was hard to hear, but it was the truth. And the truth, even when it hurts, is better than a lie. At home, things were different. The silence was gone, but it was replaced by a carefulness. We were like two people learning to dance together again. Sometimes we would step on each other's toes. I would have bad days, days where the anger and sadness came back like a big wave. I would see David on his phone, and my stomach would clench. Is he talking to someone? But then he would show me the screen. Just emailing my boss, he'd say. He was trying. He was being transparent. I handled all the communication with the school. I wrote the notes. I read the newsletters. I emailed Miss Evans about bake sales and field trips. My emails were short and polite. Hers were too. We were like two planets in orbit around the same sun, Leo. We kept a safe, professional distance. It was still uncomfortable. Every time I saw her at school drop-off, my heart would beat a little faster. But the intense fear was slowly being replaced by a dull ache. A scar that was beginning to heal. One afternoon, I went to pick Leo up from school. It was raining. All the parents were crowded under the small awning near the front door. Leo ran out and hugged me. "Mommy, I forgot my art project. Miss Evans said it's very important." "Okay, sweetie," I said. "You wait here with Mrs. Gable. I'll go get it." I gave him a quick kiss and rushed back inside the school. The hallways were empty. I walked to room 5. The door was open. I saw her inside. She was at her desk, organizing papers. She looked up when I walked in. "Olivia," she said, surprised. "Is everything okay?" "Yes," I said. "Leo just forgot his art project." I looked around the room. It was on a drying rack by the window. I walked over to get it. As I picked it up, she spoke. Her voice was quiet. "Olivia, can we talk for a minute?" I froze. I didn't want to talk to her. Not really, but I turned around. "Okay." She looked nervous. She was twisting a paperclip in her hands. "I just want to say, I am so sorry," she said. For all of this, for the pain this has caused you. I never wanted this to happen. You have to believe me. I just looked at her. When I took this job, she continued, I had no idea David lived here. It was a complete shock seeing him that night. And I never should have contacted him. It was a mistake. I was feeling lonely in a new town. I saw a familiar face from my past. It was selfish. I wasn't trying to break up your family. I would never do that. I made a mistake. And I am truly, truly sorry. She looked sincere. Her eyes were sad. For the first time, I saw her not as a villain, not as a threat, but as a person. A woman who had also been hurt. A woman who was maybe just as lost as I was. Why did you and David break up? The question just came out. I hadn't planned to ask it, but I needed to know. She looked down at the paperclip in her hands. We were young, she said softly. Too young. We wanted different things. I wanted to travel, to see the world. He wanted to settle down, to start a family. We argued. He said I was scared of commitment. I said he was scared of living. He ended it. He said he couldn't wait for me. She paused. It hurt for a long time, but he was right. We weren't right for each other. We wouldn't have been happy. Hearing her side of the story, it was like a key turning in a lock. It made sense. It wasn't some epic, tragic love story. It was just two young people who wanted different things. I am happy for him, she said, looking up at me. I was happy when I saw you both that night, before the shock. You have a beautiful family, a wonderful son. He has the life he always wanted. Tears pricked my eyes. It wasn't her fault. Not really. She had made a mistake by contacting him. But the bigger mistake, the bigger lie, was David's. Thank you for telling me that, I said. My voice was thick with emotion. I plan to finish the school year here, she said, for the children. But I will be looking for another job next year, in another town. I think it's for the best, for everyone. I nodded. It was for the best. I took Leo's art project. Thank you, Miss Evans, I said. Please, she said, call me Sarah. I gave her a small, sad smile. Okay, Sarah. I walked out of her classroom. The rain had stopped. The sun was starting to come out from behind the clouds. I felt like something inside me had shifted. The anger towards her was gone. It had been replaced by a strange kind of understanding. When I got home, I told David about the conversation. He was quiet for a long time. She was right, he said finally. That's how it happened. I was afraid of losing her, so I pushed her away. I was young and stupid. We were all young, I said. That conversation was a turning point. For me, for us. It wasn't magic. Our problems didn't disappear. But the story was complete now. There were no more secrets. No more ghosts. Just 3 people who had been tangled up in a difficult past. The rest of the school year passed. David and I continued with counseling. We learned to talk. And more importantly, we learned to listen. We started to build something new, Not the perfect life I thought I had, but something real, something stronger, something that could bend without breaking. On the last day of school, Leo came home with a card. For the best teacher in the world, it said. Inside, he had drawn a picture of him and Sarah. They were both smiling. He had also given her a small potted flower from our garden, my idea, a small gesture of peace. I never saw Sarah again after that. I hope she found her happiness. I hope she is teaching other children and reading them stories about dragons. My life is quiet again, but it's a different kind of quiet. It's not the quiet of a perfect, unbroken surface. It's the quiet of peace, of acceptance. I look at David now, and I don't see the man who lied to me. I see a man who made a mistake and worked hard to fix it. I see my husband, the father of my child. I love him. Our love is not a fairy tale. It's real. It's scarred, but it's strong. If you are listening to this, and your world has been shaken, know this. The truth can be painful. It can break things. But it is the only thing that can help you heal. You are stronger than you think. You can survive the storm. And sometimes, after the rain, you can find a new kind of sunshine. Just keep going. You can do this.